Chapter 22.
Yet, a hint of amusement graced Severus's face when Draco's final gift was revealed. It was a handcrafted silver nameplate for his office desk, sleek and stylish, as Draco proudly thought. It proudly proclaimed, Professor Severus Snape, potions master, inventor, and duelist. "Surely, sir," Draco commented, eyes widening with mock innocence, "you must be the finest duelist at Hogwarts, if not in the entire country, to have vanquished such a famed and able wizard as Gilderoy Lockhart." The slight upturn of Severus's mouth was enough to warm Draco, as if Severus had let him taste his whiskey, though such a thing would never happen. Draco could only wish that Severus might actually use the nameplate, even if he disregarded the book and gloves. After all, Severus was wearing the turquoise Dragon Ouroboros ring that Draco had gifted him last Christmas. There was one more gift for Severus under the tree, a long cylinder wrapped in opulent golden paper, with no one willing to claim responsibility for gifting it. This led Severus to point the finger at Draco, but the illusion collapsed once he noted how different it was from his godson's usual style. At least it appeared costly. Inside the cylinder was an exquisite tapestry, depicting a sunlit meadow teeming with golden roses. It even came with a wooden hook and a sticking charm to mount it on the wall. It seemed to fit the bare space where Severus had concealed an old fireplace. Yet, Severus tossed it into the fireplace with dismissive ease. Vince picked up a note that had fallen from the wrapping. From an anonymous admirer, he read aloud, and Severus contemptuously tossed that note into the flames as well. After distributing vials of draught of peace, Severus guided the animated group up to the Christmas feast. The great hall sparkled even more than the previous year, adorned with the frost-tipped trees from Hagrid and a magical snowfall. Draco paused at the entrance, his mind drifting back to Hagrid's Halloween decorations, shared with Hermione, Potter, and Ron. It seemed no time had passed, yet the gap between Draco and the Gryffindors felt as vast as centuries, with Potter flaunting that appalling Weasley Christmas sweater. Draco adjusted his new cream cashmere jumper with pearl buttons, framed by his open robes, to exhibit the lustrous sea pearls. He assured himself it painted Potter in an unfavorable light. Soon, Dumbledore's favored carols echoed through the hall. Hagrid, increasingly fueled by eggnog, began his customary Christmas antics, blissfully unaware of soon becoming the board's prime suspect. Draco found it more challenging to convince Blaise and Theo of the foolishness of Christmas crackers, unlike with Vince and Greg earlier. Vince and Greg now followed Blaise's lead, not his. When Draco launched into a silent tirade, arms flailing at Blaise and company for igniting cracker after cracker, Theo erupted in laughter loud enough to draw Potter's attention. Draco locked eyes with Potter defiantly until Potter looked away. The trio vanished early, but not before Blaise coerced Severus into permitting their use of the Quidditch pitch at 3. Potter paused, making Draco nervous about a potential, spontaneous Gryffindor-Slytherin rivalry. Although equipped with more than enough robust gingers, Draco thought no one deserves the fate of facing Potter in Quidditch on Christmas. "Count me out," Draco announced swiftly. "I'm sending an owl." When the Slytherins protested, he retorted, "I've got some crucial blood magic to tend to. After all, Yuletide is optimal for it," leaving nearby Gryffindors bewildered as to his sincerity. Draco climbed to the Ollery, ready to feign correspondence if Potter was tailing him again. Alone amid the hooting, he decided to scribble a brief letter to his mother, wishing her a happy Christmas, and sent it off with one of the school owls. He turned to leave, nearly jumping when Blaise and Theo materialized there, clad in standard Slytherin robes. "What on earth?" Draco demanded, stepping back. "You scared me. Why aren't you gearing up for Quidditch?" Blaise and Theo shared meaningful glances. "We weren't in the mood, Draco." "But, Crabbe and Goyle are still going," Blaise muttered, raising alarms for Draco Sensei. Blaise typically referred to them as Vince and Greg B. It was Blaise's idea initially, and see, Vince and Greg weren't capable of managing a Quidditch game by themselves. "What's going on?" Draco inquired, wary of a setup to expose his role as Slytherin's heir, while they pursued him towards the dungeons with their line of questioning affirming his suspicions. "I noticed Potter glancing at you during dinner," Theo mentioned. "Do you think he suspects anything?" "I know he suspects me," Draco replied with a touch of sarcasm. "Though he's never needed much of a reason to stare, has he?" Theo stifled a chuckle before Blaise nudged him. "Is Potter onto something?" Blaise asked, surprisingly concerned for Draco. "Potter," Draco said dismissively. "Potter couldn't charm his way out of a paper bag. I'm not losing sleep over Potter's theories." "Yet, it didn't prevent him from defeating you in Quidditch, right?" Theo pressed, uncharacteristically hostile, until Blaise intervened again. If they aimed to extract information, Draco found their approach lacking. Instead, they behaved like oddballs. Distracted thoughts ate away Draco's focus as he neared the entrance to the Slytherin dungeons, causing the password to elude his mind completely. "Theo, remind me the password, will you?" That's a good question," Theo mumbled, surprising himself. He'd always remembered the passwords perfectly, whether on duty or not. It seemed as though someone might have meddled with their minds using Confundus spells. "What about you, Blaise?" Draco asked. "Not a clue, buddy," Blaise responded, using a term he'd never before used for Draco in his life. "Let me think," Draco replied, zoning in. He dimly recalled it being pure blood, but decided to see if his flummoxed friends could work it out themselves. Theodore hazarded a guess. Snakewood perhaps, gazing hopefully at the entry as if sheer willpower might cause it to open. It was pointless. Snakewood had been a password the previous year, hadn't it? A memory nestled in Draco's mind. Try as he might, Draco could never erase that memory. Once a Death Eater, always a Death Eater, Potter had declared. The words had struck him so hard, he had let the Slytherin password slip in front of Harry, Snakewood. Draco recalled listening to Potterwatch on those hidden radio broadcasts during the war, where Jordan and others admired Potter's crew who infiltrated the Ministry of Magic with Polyjuice Potion. Oh, right. Pure blood. Draco feigned recollection. Immediately, the entrance swung open, though Draco didn't step inside. Blaise and Theo exchanged secretive looks, inadvertently showing softer camaraderie than they normally would. "Blaise, I need you to fetch my secret squirrel eggs from Dobby in the kitchens. You know which ones. Don't even think of coming back empty-handed, or I'll jinx you." In reality, Blaise would have scoffed at Draco's request, since squirrel eggs were pure invention. But the imposter shared a glance with Theo, agreed with a sure, "Buddy," and hurried away upstairs. Ron for certain. Hermione wouldn't misuse Buddy so often. Hermione had mentioned clearing his name through a project. Could this be her plan? Polyjuice her pals into Slytherin personas and tricking him into spilling secrets? Little did they understand Slytherin's social dynamics, though, if they believed Draco could casually command Zabini and have him comply. Such acting was futile without the ability to mimic the persona beneath the disguise. So Draco found himself with Harry Potter, ensnared in the guise of Theodore Nott for the duration of that Polyjuice hour. He couldn't decide if he should feel annoyed or honored that the Gryffindors deemed him worth this elaborate ruse. Brewing Polyjuice in their second year without assistance? Hermione was astonishing. Potter, not much. Harry shadowed Draco hesitantly into the common room, trying not to gape at the snake-etched fireplace and emerald-hued lamps as though they weren't brand new to him. He matched Draco's pace on their way to the dorms, but every movement screamed Potter. Now that Draco was aware, Harry's essence cut through outward appearances like a beacon. He needed confirmation before having any fun with this revelation. "Remember this morning under the mistletoe?" Snape's reaction. Draco probed. "When I kissed you, Theo?" True enough, a look of astonishment unfurled on Theo's face before Potter hastily recovered, stammering out, "Yeah, don't think Snape enjoys watching a student's, smooch." "Kissing?" Clearly, Potter misinterpreted. Draco had deliberately left the description vague, planting an insidious seed of mischief. He's my godfather. Although he approves of us, it's understandable he'd rather not see it firsthand. Sauntering to his bed, Draco shed his outer robe and perched himself at its edge, beckoning, "Come here." Potter traversed the space slowly, like a prisoner heading to execution. Draco, why are you? Skipping Quidditch was obvious. Draco purred. Your choice to chill with me holds more allure, away from prying eyes. Oh, I guess it does, Potter agreed, surprising Draco by going through sufficient motions to shed his shoes and climb onto the bed. Yet as Draco cast protective spells, Potter's unease blossomed. Wait, what's going on? Just ensuring privacy, Draco assured, observing the familiar yet odd sandy hair on the pillow. He'd welcomed Theo into his bed before, but this time, Potter was the one he found himself imagining. Nobody will disturb us now. Sure, Potter conceded, visibly grappling with maintaining his guise. He lay facing him on his side. Draco recalled reclining in the same position with Hermione during visits, a seemingly another life ago. No disturbances would indeed be helpful. Draco shook his head, flicking his hair from his eyes, watching amused as Potter self-consciously combed through his borrowed hair. The fascinating web he'd spun around Potter was commendable. Did the gift amuse you? Draco pursued, having given much less elaborate presents to Theo, yet Potter nodded. Yeah, totally enjoyed it, Draco. Potter fibbed, unconvincingly. Exactly what I hoped for. Oh? Why so shy then? It's just us, darling, Draco said, sugary enough to cause even Knott's visage to redden beyond usual Slytherin possibility. How could Potter still be convinced his act hadn't crumbled yet? I guess recent events leave me wound tight, Potter finally responded, his determination emerging like a spark in the typically blue eyes, making them almost appear green. People talking about you, Draco, it's... He trailed off, a beat skipping before he quietly added, I really fancy you, Draco. I really hope what they're claiming isn't correct.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this chapter, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with more audiobooks. Happy listening!